You are listening to the Hello Sport podcast.
How'd you go the rest of the packing?
Done
Done?
like last night. But these fucking wood choppers, bro. I might have to carry the boxes up the driveway. It's looking like that. It's looking likely.
I might be able to come and help you if we just want to pump it out. Actually, no, I won't be able to help you. Sorry. I wish I didn't say that and then have to take it back. I can't help you. It's all right. I think, to be fair, are we recording yet or not? Yeah, we're recording. I think, to be fair, in terms of the things we need, like physically, you probably need a bit more weights and I need to lose weight. So you lifting heavy shit is probably good for you today.
Wasn't good for my back yesterday.
That's because you were like bent over though.
My lower back's fucked.
So's mine. But now you'll be able to lift from the legs.
It's just a gentle reminder that I wouldn't be able to do any physical work. Like my physical work days, I think, have come and gone. Back's not up to it.
No, my back's not up to it either. But I mean, like...
One day at packing merch and I'm fucked.
Yeah, but I reckon surely if you're like a lifer... Like I remember when I was doing my labouring days, which I seem to bring up with monotonous regularity, like I'm a fucking...
You bring them up every podcast.
Working class hero. But when I was doing it, there were guys there who'd been labouring... Like, so I was obviously casual, so it was like...
Oh, legend.
You know, just fucking as your labour hire company, Labour Force, if you need labourers, shout out Labour Force. Guys doing that for 8 years.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, fuck, that's wild. Like, not even trying to get a fucking trade or anything. Just going, nah, I'm just gonna fucking labour.
Mate, up at 6, side at 7, home at 3:30.
Doing some...
Well, knock off at 3:30. Like...
Doing some back-breaking shit, dude.
You look at the clock, you clock watch a lot
All day.
Well.
All fucking day. And there are those rare days.
Like, I don't clock watch. When was the last time you clock watched?
I don't clock watch at all. I find it goes too quick.
Yeah, the days go way too quick.
The days go way too quick.
I clock watch to be like, fuck me, is it 4 o'clock?
Yeah.
I've done nothing.
I've run out of time to get the things that I need to do done. And I never get them done. Oh, yes, please.
Yes, please.
Yes,
nice,
please. Thank you, Matthew.
Matt.
I'm just going to text them to him.
Yeah, I want regular though, not large. Thanks.
That's okay, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Now, the concern for me here, though, Eddie, is that we haven't tested the oat milk.
It's all right. It can't be as bad as your joint. I was drinking them.
That's true. That's true.
Like that. They were pouring detergent in there.
That was.
They were fucked up.
It was melted batteries.
Yeah.
In that fucking thing.
Maybe, you know what it might have been? It may have been that establishment had an equity share, shall we say, in almond milk or soy.
Okay, and going like, we don't want to get people into the oat milk game.
Because they know how delicious and delectable it is. And they've said to themselves, okay, well, the orders are increasing. We need to do something about this. Little bit of battery acid in there.
A little bit of battery acid in there, might melt the esophagus.
Who knows, Tom? Who knows? But anyway, the back is sore, punters and dribblers. Why? Well, because we were packing like madmen yesterday.
Yes.
Packing like it was our last...
Well, like the last days...
days of Rome.
Yes.
I don't know. Is that a saying? It is now.
I think it is the saying, the last days of Rome.
Packing like it was the last day of Rome. Now... 2 seconds.
This podcast has started with a little bit of a, look, it hasn't started with the power, the vim, vigour and gusto that you used to. This is the Thursday podcast, though. Things are done a little differently here on a Thursday. We spent a whole day packing bounced out trackies, shipping, sending, expressing. So they're all rocking up today, tomorrow, early next week.
Depending on where you live.
Depending on where you live.
In this great nation of ours.
Yes, and obviously if you live in other countries with which we've sold some there as well. But just in time for a 28-degree spring day.
Well, I think it was, poetic even.
Yep.
The day that they will be arriving to some punters and dribblers.
It's the hottest day since winter started.
They're talking 28 degrees. They're talking balmy. They're talking, a beautiful, gorgeous day.
I'm in shorts.
Hot even. But I will say this. I think we've said it before and I'll say it again. The bounced out trackie is for any occasion.
Correct.
It breathes like a motherfucker. I think it's 100% cotton,
It is 100% cotton.
but it looks like velour. So riddle me that, bruh.
Yeah, it's magic.
Riddle me that. Yeah, it's called magic.
It's called magic cloth.
Magic cloth that wasn't cheap. It was expensive as fuck. Magic cloth that we have sold to the punter and dribbler at an incredible rate.
Discounted even.
We're out of the
losing
goodness
money.
of our hearts, we're losing money hand over fist. Fucking shipping was a nightmare.
Listen.
I will say this though, Tom. I was talking to Tim the other night, last night.
Good man, Tim. Thanks to
man.
the Dumbrells,
Yes.
obviously Eddie's in-laws to be, for allowing us to house and just a ridiculous amount of shit at their house from a merch standpoint. Thank you both, Nicola and Tim. Very, very appreciated.
We salute you. Incredible. But he was saying, because of COVID, because of the situation that we live in, Tom, closed borders et al, fill in the fucking rest, that shipping lines to get into the country never been longer. So there is a backlog of shit trying to get in there.
Yes.
So if we'd put it on the ship,
We would have been fucked.
you might have been getting them in December.
Because the thing was, the initial plan was to ship because it's just from a look. If we can peel back the curtain here, see how the sausage is made. Shipping way cheaper than air freight, which I think probably makes sense. Takes a little longer, but had everything gone to plan the way that we plan things meticulously, then they would have been here via ship and
Would have
daddies,
saved us significant money.
Yeah, exactly. Couple more fucking margaritas for daddies.
And you might be like, shut up, you two dickheads. Like, they were late. And we'd say,
They were
we
late.
acknowledge that. We acknowledge that they were late.
We can't apologise for a pandemic, though.
We can't apologise for a pandemic. And we have parted with our own money to make sure that you were draped head to toe in 100% cotton velour just in time for summer.
Because otherwise, you might have been getting them.
You would have got them in the new year. From what I'm hearing, we've got connections in the ports.
We're saying, yeah, you can do shipping. It's cheaper, but you're going to you'll never see them. Are you happy with never seeing them? We're like, no, we're not. We need to get these fucking trackies out now.
Put them in the sky, flying first class. That's what we did.
We put them first class.
They were in the nose, baby.
They were.
They were in the nose.
These trackies have been sipping fucking Dom since they left China.
They still reek of Dom.
Yeah, they do. They stink of Dom Perignon and whatever else first class people get.
Caviar.
They were watching movies that haven't even been released yet.
Yeah, dude. They had the time of their fucking life up there, those trackies. We're actually saying, funnily enough, Tom and I, and this is true.
This is true. This is dumb.
Tom was like, dude, do you reckon that these boxers are just so stoked to get out of China?
And I mean, if you're a box in China, if you're anyone in China, it seems like a little bit of an etched place to be.
But particularly if you're a box.
Particularly if you're a box, no one gives a fuck about the box.
No one cares about boxers.
I mean, are they an inanimate object without thoughts, feelings? Do they pass the mirror test? We haven't been able to prove it conclusively either way.
Well, they don't communicate, so it's hard to tell.
It's hard to know, right? They're quiet objects. But if you were to be able to speak to the box, would you be like, are you stoked to be fucking, out of China and sitting on the east coast of Australia right now, just with the sea breeze blowing in your hair? And I think that if those boxers could speak to us, Eddie, and this might give an insight into what Eddie and I speak about when we're packing fucking packages for 8 hours, I think the boxers would be like, dude, I'm so thrilled to be here. I've just got to send money back to my family in China.
Yes.
It's like, all right, dude, well, if we can help you out in any way, let us know.
And appreciate you putting us up first class, because that was a nice way to arrive.
Yeah, that was a nice touch. It was a really nice touch.
Got to see the harbour on the way in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? See all the sights, the sounds. As opposed to sitting on a fucking boat and sitting in a line outside of Newcastle or Sydney for
8 months.
60 days, 70 days, 80 days, 90 days.
150 days.
150 days. 161 days.
365
days. So many days. And that box, it didn't want that.
No.
So we've given the box a better life. You could say, in some ways, the boxers are like our children.
Eddie, I got a question. Do you reckon it's obvious to anyone listening that we haven't written down any talking topics for this week?
I wouldn't have thought so. I think
don't
you're
know.
fucking giving it away.
You fooled me.
Were you fooled, Dior?
I was fooled. I thought this was a script that you were reading off word for word.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, sometimes we give that fucking vibe, don't we? Because we're just fucking...
But shout out to
everyone
Shout out
for
to
waiting.
everyone for waiting.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying in a roundabout way. Thank you for waiting.
They're coming. But I actually think, considering like the delay, which is like, I think it'll probably end up being like 3 weeks to a month late. Will it? Is it 3 weeks? I think it's 3 weeks. But like most people everyone understanding. We don't have anyone being like, fuck you. It's just more like, yeah, look, it is what it is. You just want to bounce out in your trackies. And listen, this is what I will say. There are many a false dawn has been thrown up by spring where they're like, oh, summer's here. And you're like, no. We got cold days ahead of us. Don't worry. Just because there's a couple of fucking hot days, it doesn't make it summer.
No, it doesn't make it summer. And there was a couple of innovative punters and dribblers who pointed out, and I think, it's genius, really. Whack the AC on, getting you bounced out.
Yeah, if you've got climate controlled,
get it down to what I reckon 17.
You go to as cold as you can get it.
Yeah, 16, 17 in the trackies, on the couch, KFC in the mouth, boom, boom, boom.
What about
Thanks
this?
for coming.
I think you get absolutely rat shit the night before, obviously. Then with those air conditioners now, the new modern ones, Eddie, you can set a timer. Set that thing to turn on at like 5, 6 in the morning. You don't wake up till like 10 or 11 hung as shit. By the time you wake up, you're in Antarctica, into the trackies.
That's a good point. I would say this to people that live in Sydney as we enter into summer, and this is more of a public service announcement coming from a bloke who's lived and breathed hot summers in Sydney. Because hot summers in Sydney can be fucking hot and they can be humid, particularly as we get into like February, generally speaking. Starts to get fucking sticky.
February is actually probably the most disgraceful.
It's a disgraceful month. It's a disgraceful month.
There's no sport. And
There's no sport on. It's hot as fuck. It's humid as fuck. It's shit.
And everyone's getting back to
And holidays
work.
are over because January, everyone has the month off. And then you come back to February and it's like, fuck, what's my life become? So the way to prepare for it is that, you know how your mate's always been like, you should get an aircon and you never do? Get the fucking aircon. I'm going to tell you how. Now, I made the mistake of when I was living in an attic on Berriga Road. I used to live in an attic, punters and dribblers. Yeah. It was a great view, but it was an attic nonetheless. Shout out to Gus.
That was an attic. That was a full. You had a triangle window. If you got a triangle window, you live in an attic.
2 triangle windows, like one at each end.
Yeah. You're living in the chimney.
I lived in an attic, and obviously ventilation up there poor. Oh no, ventilation wasn't poor. Hot air risers, airflow. So if you don't get a fucking nice breeze off the ocean, you're fucked. Now, I made the mistake of buying a fan. You know when you're like, oh, I should buy a fan. Fans do nothing.
They just displace the air, bruh.
Fans do fuck all. The only fans that are slightly useful are like ceiling fans.
Even then, dude, on a hot day, it's the same fucking... It's the same phenomenon, which is just...
It's like stirring custard.
We're just pushing... Stirring custard, okay.
Or
No, I'm with you. I like that.
The air's as thick as custard.
It was a gross fucking thing to think about. Yeah, unless you've got the fan like this far away from your face, like you'd need multiple really fast fans that like just cake your whole body.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't change anything.
Well, that to me that does a little bit, but again, that's not really a reasonable expectation for your life, right? That's not how it works. That's not how the world works.
What sort of like? I mean, if you are sleeping naked with 6 fans pointed at you, like that's...
Just get an aircon.
Just get an aircon.
Yeah.
Like you need to make changes.
Yeah.
You need to make changes quickly. Now, I'm telling you, I got mine from Kogan, right? Kogan, for some reason, loves slashing prices on air conditioners.
This isn't an ad.
This isn't an ad. I've just got to tell the punter and the dribbler the truth. as I do every show. As I do every show, Tom.
Yeah.
They slash prices on ACs. Now, do your research. Look for one that's relatively quiet. You can read in the comments and the reviews and shit. And you get the more BCUs, the better.
What's BCU?
I don't know. What's a BCU, Dave?
BCU for air conditioning. See, we got one, and we were living in Bondi, and we were at the top level of the apartment, and it was hotter inside than outside.
Yes.
Often. Like, no joke, it'd be 40 degrees inside and 35, 36, 37 outside. Like, it was fucked.
Wait, BCU or BTU?
BTU.
BTU, yeah, British Thermal Unit, which is a form of measurement that measures energy. So 1 BTU refers to the amount of energy that's required to increase the temperature of a pound of water by 1 degree Fahrenheit, if that makes sense.
So the more BTUs, the better.
The
Just know that.
Yeah, the more BTUs, the more energy it has to warm shit up.
Or cool?
Or cool, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't get one like that. We got a good one, but we got one where I had to basically get this big fucking hose that like snaked out to the window.
That's what aircons are. All of them are like that.
Oh, so you had that as well, though?
Yeah, but it was hidden behind my TV. So
Yeah, right. But was it that big? Was it a big
It's like
one?
this big.
Oh, okay. No, that's just, mine was like,
They're big, dude.
yeah, huge.
Because they pump the hot air
They
out.
pump the hot air out.
Yes.
Just get it. They're not that fucking expensive. Like, they're expensive.
Couple of $100. 300.
Ours was 800, I think. But you can get them. Again, Kogan slash prices, we know this.
Kogan slash price. You can pick one up for 350, 400 punters and drillers. I'm telling you right now, 350, 300, 400. Kogan. Not an ad.
I don't have any aircon in my house, and my friends give me shit about it.
Why not, Dave? You seem like a well-to-do young boy.
It's weird. Like, we just never really had it, and we renovated our house maybe about 10 years ago, and yeah, I don't know. My parents just
my
weren't.
old
We
man
got
would-
fans in all the rooms.
My old man
but-
would die if he didn't have air conditioning. He cannot handle the heat at all. Like he's like, dude, I'm a winter guy. Fuck summer. I need aircon. He uses aircon in winter. Like he would melt. He has to have aircon. He has to have every room he enters chilled basically because he's just like, I can't. He sweats at the drop of a hat.
He just loves it. Loves aircon. I've got a couple of mates like that.
I don't even know if it's that he loves aircon. It's that he hates heat.
But I think you can, over time, develop a love for aircon. You know what I mean? That's like, you know, he once upon a time may have pushed the boundaries a little bit more with what he was prepared to cope with.
Yes. Now.
But as tastes have refined.
Yes. Well, he's become used to it.
Yes.
He's become used to the aircon. I think he loves aircon. Don't get me wrong. You know, Fujitsu, please don't think that this is an anti-aircon rant. I think he likes aircon, but I think he hates heat more than he loves aircon. The aircon, obviously, the antidote to heat.
There's a really weird story and pretty cooked going around about Shepherd, the band.
Ooh, is this the ones that say, "Hey Geronimo"?
Yeah. So
I hate them. Sorry,
I hate them as well, and
They play every grand final, and
Yeah.
that song sucks.
You'll find more reason to hate them after this. So, have you ever wondered why they released a song in 2014, which was like pretty successful but annoying?
Hey,
And then-
Geronimo.
Like, what are we now? 6 years later, they played the AFL Grand Final last year, and they played like a State of Origin last year.
Yeah.
But they haven't had a song that's nearly as big since then.
Yeah.
So I was alerted to this by the investigative journalists down at the Meeting Tree podcast with Joyride and Raph.
Are they doing that again?
Yeah, so they just released an episode like last night about this.
Bro, that podcast is fucking funny. And
They're
then
so funny.
They just stopped doing it.
Yeah.
They just stopped doing it. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? Just keep doing the fucking podcast. Anyway, carry on.
So it kind of all got revealed, I guess, because so Shepherd, the band, consists of like 3 siblings in the band with the last name Shepherd. Their father, Greg Shepherd, has just been arrested for the 3rd time this year in Papua New Guinea over like massive financial crimes, like $100 million, like money laundered fraud. Police on Wednesday described the allegations, if proven, as the single biggest fraud that has ever been investigated by police in the history of the Royal Papua New Guinean Constabulary. So pretty cool stuff. And there's also there's like a transcript of Greg Shepherd, their father, talking with a private investigator. And he's saying stuff like, he says basically, the guy says, "Oh, I noticed you have a gold record in your office." And he goes, "It's not gold, actually, it's platinum." And he asks about it. He said, "No, they're my children are in a band." And the guy goes, "Are you also in a band, or are you just a proud parent?" And he goes, "I own it, right? I set it up as a family business and I control it through a Singapore company called Empire of Song Chinese." He goes, "I play a very important instrument in the whole thing. It's called the negotiable instrument. I sign all the checks." So this guy, Greg Shepherd, has been the director of over like 50 companies, including Wilson, of most expensive parking lot in the nation fame, and also runs the detention centers.
Yep.
Detention centers as well.
Yeah, on Manus Island and Nauru.
Right, so we do parking and we also fucking.
He's a
lock up
director of Wilson.
I think he has been. I'm not sure if he is anymore. It says he's been the director of over 50 companies or something. I'm trying
This
to
is a
find it.
fucking yarn.
Yeah,
and a
this is
half.
okay. Here we go. So, Record Show has been the director of more than 50 companies since the late 80s. Until recently, he was a director of Wilson Protective Services. And basically, the transcript with the private investigator goes on, and he's talking about what they have to do to bribe people in Papua New Guinea, like elected officials, to get land there, to sell land.
I imagine it's easier than here.
Yeah, from what I heard on the podcast, apparently, like Papua New Guinea is just awash with like dirty Australian money.
That wouldn't surprise me. It seems like Papua New Guinea would be a place that it's like, is it third world?
I think so.
Corruption is rife in the third world. And if you're a dodgy Australian going over there, it's like, I'm sure that's where you fucking, you can get dirty shit done. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, so
Developing
the
nation.
private investigator goes, the cost of business here is leaving aside all the bribery, and that's just actual resources of hotels, transport, phones, terrible internet, all those things. But I still think, and then he gets cut off and Greg Shepard goes, but the rewards are huge. Everything is an elephant here. There's no pygmies. Isn't it wonderful? Why do you think I'm here? For my health? And basically what they were saying is that because he's got so much money and influence in big businesses and even the government, basically whenever they need a musical act to play any big event, they're like, oh, who do we get? Oh, let's just get Greg's kids. They're safe. They're easy. They're not offensive or anything like that.
Greg's kids.
So hang on, let's fucking backtrack.
Yeah, there was a
on-
lot there. And
So
I got a
Greg,
bit
has
confused.
Greg been arrested?
Greg has been arrested for the third time this year. He was arrested in January and June.
And he keeps getting arrested in Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
And he gets arrested because he's
being a
being a little piglet.
Yeah, it says the first line is Australian lawyer has been arrested for the third time in Papua New Guinea over the alleged misappropriation of $104 million from a trust fund linked to the controversial OK Teddy mine, alongside 3 others.
How so he's a mover and shaker. I'd like to know more about this Greg Shepard.
because
How does one go over to somewhere like Papua New Guinea, right?
just start fucking
and
taking
start ripping and tearing. Start whining and dining.
From what it seems
69
like,
Yeah,
so
bit of 69 in it.
in 1975, basically before that, I think Australia had administrated Papua New Guinea and had been under the administration of a few other nations. And then they kind of pulled out, said, you guys govern yourselves, go for it. But I assume just like when there's the breakup of any other country, all the natural resources and all the money is like, oh, who's going to get this? My mate here, my other mate here, and this mate that.
Yeah, I'm with you. But I find it interesting that people get to these positions where you start bribing government officials and shit. Like, how is that done?
How is that, bro? You've got to just have some stones on you, right?
But is it a look? Is it a nod?
Well, okay, what about this? When you think
Do
of it
you
this way.
speak in
What
like-
about when you think of it this way? When you go to, obviously now you and I are happily married and engaged, but when we were out there ripping and tearing on the savannah, you know what I mean? Just like,
there's a knowing look.
when you end up hooking up with a gal or a guy, depending on your proclivity, you don't go, can I kiss you now? There's like fucking unspoken bodily cues, and you see what's going on, and you get a little closer, and before you know it,
But that's primal and that's instinct.
maybe being a piglet's primal to some people though. Like maybe it is because we don't have that in us.
So it's foreign to us.
It's foreign to us.
Speaking piglet is primal to some.
Speaking fluent piglet would come very easily to some people, I think. And when you're in there in a room, it's like, well, we're both gotten to a point where we've either encountered a piglet or two in our time, like if you're in that room, or
Well, I think
we are all piglets. Maybe there's just an assumption that everyone in that fucking space is a piglet.
Yeah. All eaten from the same trough.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He says here to the private investigator when talking about the bribes, he goes, you have to make sure that it's not going to be attacked as money laundering. He goes, look, if you were to pay 7 figures to anybody, the world would fall in on top of you. The small dribs and drabs are the only way to go. I'm approaching it from a lawyer's point of view. I don't want to advise you to do anything illegal. It would have to be something that didn't raise suspicions, something that was ostensibly commercial. The days of banging $1 million into his secret numbered account in Singapore is over.
Greg said this?
Greg said this. Yeah.
And Greg was saying this to whom?
To a private investigator that I think he thought was just some dude who was just trying to get a start and into the same industry or something. I don't know.
Oh, so Greg will he'll share and care with anyone.
Yeah.
A bloke looking to get a start as a piglet, he's fucking taking him under his wing.
And just gone, let me tell you company secrets here. Fucking, you can't be fucking bribing people with millions of dollars. Piglets are smart these days.
Yeah. Piglets the feds are too smart.
Piglets have wised up.
Yeah, wised up. You got to. As the feds get smarter, so too does the piglet.
Yes.
And so you got to do it in dribs and drabs. That is hilarious.
See,
as Greg's probably got too big for his boots.
Well, it seems. I mean, you know what? Like I don't know what the exact term is, but the hens always come home to roost, Eddie.
They do.
Know? So if you're fucking ripping and tearing, at some point, you're gonna get caught. We're on the podcast though, the Meeting Tree one. Mm-hmm. How were they speaking about Shepherd the band? Because obviously, I think everyone hates Shepherd the band, but I kind of feel sorry for the. Firstly, if your old man is basically paying for you to get into everything, the fact you had a number one hit is actually pretty impressive. Because that song, whilst it's Poison, is a hit. I get how fucking people like it, even though I hate it. And I hate the fucking term Geronimo now, which I believe is a native Indian fucking term, and surprised they didn't get cancelled for it, even though they probably shouldn't have been cancelled for that either. All I'm saying is it's impressive to hit a number one when you actually don't even really need to if your old man's just fucking shortballing your fucking gigs. Or is it they got the number one, then the old man took over? And
I think
no.
that was more what it was.
No, I don't think so. I think he has kind of got them all the starts that they have.
Okay.
In terms of like, oh, you
but
want
so
a spot
explain
here.
the hit.
Does the Shepherd the band know Dad's a pig?
Well, they all the siblings were born and grew up in Port Moresby, so there had to have been something.
Mean they're
no, I know
piglets.
that, but it's hard to tell from their Wikipedia page because they've clearly edited the whole thing.
They have.
Yeah, like
right.
Well, it says things like Geronimo was like the first single to stay for 3 weeks at the top of the charts since Guy Sebastian's single Something, which was actually like a year and a half before
Right, you
that.
can tell when someone's edited their own Wikipedia page as
Yeah.
opposed to Wikipedia just putting information in, because there is the minutiae of detail around things that no one gives a fuck about. But it's clear to see.
They give like all the chart positions and how well the songs did like on their first album, and then when it talks about the albums they released since then, there's like no chart positions or like no this song reached this number or anything.
No, well, there's no chart.
Have they
positions to
released
speak
any
about.
albums recently?
Yeah, since Geronimo, they've released I want to say 1, 2, and 3 albums.
What are they
since.
called?
Watching the Sky.
Cool.
There's the newest one is Kaleidoscope Eyes, and then there's another one in between, Phoenix.
When did Geronimo come out?
2014.
2014.
Did it get on Hottest 100 or something? Surely not. Surely it wasn't.
Maybe
Triple
not
J.
Hottest 100 because it's a bit mainstream.
I know it is, but I was like, sometimes mainstream shit will get on there and it sort of becomes way more mainstream after it's played like 400 million times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think about Gaultier, even though that is clearly like fucking a Triple
won,
J
didn't it?
song. I think it won Hottest 100.
Yeah, I think it did.
But that also was like humongous in the US.
It was.
Humongous. And Gaultier then has just disappeared.
Yes, they have. Good point.
Gaultier is gone, dude.
Gaultier, Gaultier is actually a drummer, and he was like a drummer in some other band before he was Gaultier.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he can
And
go
where
back. It
is-
seems like he might have gone back to drumming by the look of it.
Has he gone back to the drumming?
Let's have a look.
Shout out to drummers.
Wally DeBacker.
Gaultier is
That's
better,
his name.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Greg Shepherd. I'd like to sit down with a piglet.
100%. Like
And
a
just
Wolf
be-
of Wall Street sort of piglet.
And just go spin me yarns. But like, don't make them, like, you can put a little bit of mayo on if you
Put
want.
some mayo
but
on.
don't lie.
Don't buzz
lie.
Rothfield. I just want to know, like, to be honest, like, short, like, even with if you were talking to like the Wolf of Wall Street, like, I get
Jordan
that you
Belfort.
fucked. Yeah, I get you fucked heaps of like hookers and you did heaps of coke, but I actually want to know a bit more about like how you ripped people off. Like, I want to know like, I want to know the details of basically why you are the person you are, which is that you were a fucking massive piglet who just stole money from people. Like, I want to know what that process was like.
Well, they would basically just convince investors to buy stocks that were worthless. Or he'd have a position in them, and then they'd pump up the price, and then he'd sell it, and the floor would fall out, and they'd fucking
and they'd just go. But what I mean is
pump and dump.
The pump and dump, I know, but I mean more not necessarily even just about like the mechanics. Well, obviously the mechanics to help explain how it's done, but just like I guess also the mindset around knowingly just going fuck it, just ripping millions off these people. I guess it's like they're just faceless.
You can probably convince yourself of anything, right?
Well,
like,
definitely.
You know, these cunts are rich and they can afford it. And
But
if
often
they're
they
dumb
weren't
enough
rich.
to believe it.
Often they aren't rich.
But that's I'm saying. In his head,
yeah, right. You're
you know?
convincing yourself.
I mean,
so.
look, I'm fucking putting words in Jordan's mouth. He apparently, I don't know how true this is. Dior will be Dioring as I speak. Apparently, he's now worth more than he ever was.
Really? Because
he's built up this sales and motivational empire.
Isn't it crazy, dude? Like the world, just how he was. Some people are able to make comebacks off the back of heinous atrocities, whereas some people
because he fucking hoodwinks people. That's. But
is he still hoodwinking? You reckon?
He's telling you how to hoodwink. It's sales. It's all sales.
Sales is hoodwinking to a degree.
It is to a degree, yeah.
His current net worth is, it says, around 100 million.
Fuck.
Yeah.
He was worth, and wouldn't have been worth that when he was hoodwinking?
Oh, I don't know. 100 million's a lot of money.
100 million is a lot of money.
And he's doing all these speaking tours and he's doing shit like that. And he's probably getting some
Would he
money.
have made money off that book that then is turned into a movie? Like when that thing gets turned into, he must make money off that shit, right? Or is that like proceeds of crime?
I mean, you'd think he would but I guess it's all down to if he signed something with the dude who wrote the book at first.
I think he would have made some.
Google it.
Yeah.
But it was more than anything. Even if he didn't make a shitload of money off the royalties for the movie, he knew as a swindler how good it swindler as well, how good it would be for his profile.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It's been fucking...
But it can and it can't, right? Like it can go two ways. It depends how the movie is because the movie paints him in this really fun... It's the tone of that movie is this looks like a fucking hoot.
Yes, until the end.
So
he fucking what? You don't even really see the end. He just goes to jail.
Oh, he loses his wife.
You know what I mean? The family goes out, and then it's now he's already out of jail now, right? He was out of jail when the movie came out, wasn't he?
Yeah, at the end of the movie, they've got him talking in front of some crowd and telling his story. Don't they?
Yeah.
It's very colourfully done.
It is, but it doesn't make him out like that much of an asshole.
No, because it's colourful.
Yeah,
it's fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Whereas if you'd painted him out as a fucking absolute piece of shit pig, if you had him being violent to his wife and fucking, you could paint it so much worse where it comes out and goes, people aren't going to want to have you on fucking a panel at a fucking...
Yeah.
At some sort of tour.
underneath it all, I think people love... or at least like piglets. They
like someone. There is something.
On a certain level, they do.
There's an allure to the hoodwink. I think is
yes.
it these guys are. It's not. It's almost like financial magicians, where it's you managed to make me believe something was true, when actually something else. Obviously, if it was happening to you directly, it's not. Fun.
Obviously, people fucking hate it.
But
obviously, I get that. But people are interested and drawn to these piglets that fucking make shitloads of money and fuck all these women and
hoodwink,
fucking do all these drugs and rip people off. People are interested in that clearly
because it's a fucking movie.
Because it's a movie played by Leo and the book fucking was massive.
Yeah.
The book was massive. That's why they made it a movie.
Yes.
Was the book fucking chock-a-block full of mayo? Almost certainly, but that's not the point.
It says he sold the rights. He sold the rights from the book to be made into a film for $1 million.
There you go.
But it also says in all these articles, obviously he's got a shitload of money to pay back for all the crimes.
That was the other thing as well. He's supposed to pay back X amount of money, and so he's always feigning poor.
Right, so it's he's got it all. He knows how to move money around.
Yeah,
so it's oh no, I don't have any money. But I'm flying private and I got these fucking dope watches and
he sold the book for $1 million, but
what else?
That's
interesting.
I'm gonna make money here.
Well, that's crazy. That was that's a good little story you got there, D.
Yeah.
Do you got anything else for us?
Well, it kind of has to do with this story, and I was going to mention it, but I actually have a cousin who might have done a few dodgy deals and basically had to flee his home because he got caught in the middle of a Ponzi scheme.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like
Ponzi?
it was front page of the papers and stuff. It was a bit of big news. So,
How long ago?
no,
Or you don't want to fucking...
I don't care. I don't know.
Okay.
I
So
think
this was your cousin?
So 2009. So I think he's my dad's first cousin.
Right.
They grew up in South Africa together.
Christopher Skase? Sorry.
No. So Barry Tannenbaum is his name.
Tannenbaum.
Yeah, Tannenbaum.
Or Baum. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're fucking Jewish. How do you pronounce
Tannenbaum.
it?
I think Tannenbaum.
I just think Royal Tannenbaum's the
Yeah.
fucking movie.
Anyway, so in 2009, he was arrested, accused of setting up a Ponzi scheme. It says like that used by Bernie Madoff, and he made $80 billion on this. Well, I don't know if he made, but that's how much it was worth. It says he's accused of offering 200% annual returns to investors in his pharmaceutical ingredient importation business and forging orders from big drug companies to back his claims. So what I remember is that one morning, like my parents just came home and was like, "Oi, like your cousin Barry had to leave his home in St. Ives and is now like hiding in the Gold Coast."
Did they find him?
Yeah, I think they found him, and I don't know if he ever actually went to jail, but yeah, he
didn't go to jail for a Ponzi?
I don't know
Of that
because
scale?
because it was in South Africa, and I don't think they could extradite him to South Africa.
Okay. How about that Melissa Caddick? I was just thinking about this, you were saying it.
Yeah.
Does it not raise a cursory eyebrow that bitch's foot was found floating like fucking down the south coast?
Of course it does.
Like
People
when-
think it was planted.
When it first came out and it was like happening, I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. A foot found it. And then you were talking then and I'm thinking that, I'm like, this chick is a professional hoodwinker. And now her fucking foot's found floating down the
Was their DNA analysis ran on the foot?
No, there were lots of doubts over whether the foot was actually hers.
I thought they said it fucking was her DNA.
I think it was in her shoe. Doesn't mean it was her foot.
Well,
There was a bit of foot in the shoe.
So
It wasn't just the shoe. It was like foot in the shoe. Yeah.
And clearly they've tested the foot.
Yes. Well, they'd be crazy not to.
Crazy.
Crazy not to test the foot. That'd be an oversight.
That'd be an oversight. The problem with these stories is you drip fed information and never given enough of it to fucking work out what the fuck's going on.
And sometimes you and I are best placed to work it out. And it's like...
Well, it's like, listen, I mean, look, we're not detectives per se, but, you know, we can interpret information if you give it to us.
it
Who the
says
fuck knows who's going to crack the case?
It says DNA from the foot match samples taken from a toothbrush, but experts are questioning whether the fact that they found the foot actually means she's dead, because like one of the reasons they gave is it just wasn't like worn that much. There were no barnacles, or it hadn't been like worn away by the ocean that much at all. So some experts are thinking she might have chopped it off herself to send them astray.
Which is such a big commitment.
Well-
and one that I think if you're prepared to cut your foot off, dude, fucking run
but
free.
it does imply you need medical care. Like you can't just chop your foot off and then fucking go sit in the bush.
No, you would. But I mean, no, you'd have to plan, right? You have to plan. But you could pay off a doctor to fucking give you some fucking foot care.
Yeah, like in those dodgy mafia movies when they like go
Do
to
you
a vet
reckon?
in some back room.
What doctors are you paying off?
You can pay off fucking anyone. Old mate Wilson's got his fucking
That's in
kids
Papua New
playing.
Guinea.
Well, they're playing.
reckon you could call
they're
up
playing the
doctors and pay
NRL
them
Grand
off?
Final.
You reckon you could call them up and pay them, like, just which doctor would you select to pay off?
I think that these are things that hoodwinkers know or hoodwinkers look into.
Do you reckon there's like a hoodwinkers dictionary? If you're a hoodwinker,
Hoodwinkers Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, guide to the country, and there's like full of other hoodwinkers that you can call in a time
Yeah,
of need. Is that
yeah,
what
like
you're
a
saying?
social media sort of
No,
underground.
it's like a yellow pages.
A yellow pages for hoodwinkers.
Do you need a doctor? Call this bloke. Do
Yeah.
you need a fucking, a banker? Call this
You
bloke.
need to disappear.
Call this bloke. No, I
Potentially.
mean,
That just to me was fucking ridiculous.
on fucking cracking cases, solving crimes.
Yeah.
William Tyrrell. Do you remember William Tyrrell?
Yes.
The little boy in the
Yeah, that was
Spider-Man
horrible.
outfit?
It's fucking horrible.
Ella said yesterday, and Dior will be looking this up because that's his job. Apparently, they may have cracked the case. which is interesting.
I saw
Because
something.
it's one that's done my fucking head in.
I didn't realize that he was like. There's like more to his family where he was like
adopted.
he was adopted, and the people that he like his other family, like who he was adopted from, were like fucking weird, like they were dodgy or something like that. Like he was.
Eddie, has this like come about because of the other kid that they found, or just completely unrelated?
Well, that's right. Because no, I don't think it's.
I
come
think
out the
it's
other kid.
unrelated. I think
Okay.
they're unrelated.
That other kid, and again, I want to be careful about with the other kid, the autistic kid that went missing in rural New South Wales. Some people are saying like, well, like he was found, which is obviously fantastic. He was missing for 4 nights in the bush. But then some people are like raising a few fucking eyebrows around just the story itself. I don't know if it's, and I think the story itself, like the police are still investigating, but like ultimately it's a good news story, right? Like the kid goes missing, his family are fucking distraught, and then they find him. And there's some epic footage of when news comes in that he's been found and everyone's just like fucking so relieved. But like look into that one as well. But like, you don't want to throw up conspiracy theories around it, but maybe just look into the general story around that kid that went missing.
Well, there was security footage that went missing.
Security footage that went missing. He was found fucking super close to the house. He was fine. 4 days in the fucking bush.
Like he was drinking. Yeah.
But I was saying, yeah. 4 days is a long time.
Surely medical experts would be able to look at someone who'd been in the bush for 4 days without food and be able to tell. There'd be signs.
About like malnourishment and all that
Don't
sort of
you
shit.
think?
Well, yeah. Like, I mean, you'd be like this, like,
4 days without food's a long time.
yeah, but well, it is. But I mean, I guess if you got water, you're okay. This kid was a non-verbal autistic kid. They were saying that he could have been like sleeping in wombat holes and shit. Again, who the fuck knows? It's not like it couldn't have happened. It's just
No,
like,
but I'm just saying, would there be signs
oh,
to
like as
back
in,
up the story?
I think that the inference from the conspiracy shit was like, well, you know what? I don't know what the inference was. I don't even want to get into it because, again, it's such a horrible thing that you'd want to be.
Who knows?
Who knows? But
It's interesting though.
it's interesting.
But what did you find? Did you find anything about William Toohey?
Yeah, it's all pretty vague, obviously, because they're still investigating. But what it seems like they're all saying is that they've uncovered a new person of interest / suspect that they had previously ruled out. And I think there's pretty good optimism about nailing this guy and uncovering some more facts.
It's crazy
about it.
with this sort of shit, right? Like you think about the like Madeleine McCann one, where
Who they also, I think, have solved.
they haven't solved that, bro.
I think they sort of have.
How?
Did you heard about the guy?
No.
The German guy?
No.
There's been documentaries and shit about it. The German guy in this town at the same time, phone like beeps fucking right near her. They've found like some fucking weird fucking like cave that he had all his shit buried in with DVDs and photos of girls, like little
Has he been
children and shit.
arrested?
I think they're trying to build a case around it. He's in jail already.
Right. So
Like he's a very strong
I completely
candidate.
understand from a parental standpoint that you would never ever fucking stop. Like it would be the most horrifying fucking thing in the world. You couldn't sleep. Like I wouldn't be able to ever fucking sleep. But it's crazy when you hear these things. Like sometimes police like release shit like that strategically to like try and get more information or to try and put pressure on someone they've been speaking to, and you know, but you just go like, you've heard a lot. I've heard a fuckload. Then you think about something like the Daniel Morecambe case where they did find the killer. But
That's a great yarn.
That's a fucking crazy, crazy story.
I think.
But I just mean like all I was saying there is like sometimes you hear you even heard a fucking lot about the William Tyrrell case might be solved, and it never seems to be. But in saying that, the Daniel Morecambe one was the same thing, and like you just never know how close the cops are to these fucking sickos that they have to be fucking. Like it'd be a crazy job being a cop on cases like this, just having to be. It'd be kind of scary as fuck, wouldn't it? Like having to be talking to these people, not knowing if the one you're talking to is the sicko, or talking to people in prison who are sickos that you know. Like
Scary in movies.
it's terrifying in movies, right? Like when they're going
Like-
out to like properties and shit to go.
Like when in Mayor of Easttown, when
bro.
they go and they realise that's the house.
yes,
That's
and
fucking,
the
yeah,
drain
rattling
starts
on the
shaking
drain.
and
That
shit.
was fucking intense.
yeah.
Great show.
Great show, Mayor of Easttown.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, bro. I'm fucking with you. Fuck, I hope they solve that. That one's done my head in, that William Tyrrell one.
Yeah.
I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Like, on the back porch, he's fucking playing with his sister. 60 seconds goes by, he's gone.
He's gone. That's
The
also
house is nowhere near the road.
no. That's the thing with those ones as
And it's
well.
and it's a cul-de-sac. And they weren't supposed to be there. They were supposed to get there the day afterwards. So they weren't supposed to be there. And they checked. They weren't followed from Sydney. So, like, it's opportunistic as fuck, potentially.
Potentially where it's like,
But it's
like a wrong place, wrong time.
But, like...
Surely not.
But a fucking cul-de-sac?
But it was bush though,
in the
right? But
morning?
wasn't it like bushy?
Yeah, but then what? There's someone in the bush looking at a grandma's house? Like, what?
Yeah. Those are those ones where like... Isn't it? Can you check the percentage, Dave, of the dribbliest podcast all time, where like the percentage of like when people go missing or they get killed, it's like it's usually someone they know. Like it's in the absolute minority. Is it just random?
Yes.
That's where when you're a cop, you're like, who the fuck, who done it, bro? Like,
Yeah.
you're looking at all their family, like.
And then
Motivation
there was that
and-
plumber who fucking got his name dragged through the mud and shit. Like,
Yes,
That
yeah,
poor
but
bastard.
but he had some sort of past.
did he?
I think he had a past. It was just that like I don't know who remember his
I think they found like a Spider-Man doll in his
yeah,
toy in his car and shit.
So from what it says here, victims of robbery, most times they don't know, but victims of violence and murder is about 50 to 60% someone they knew. When it comes to women, it's up to like 65, 70%.
So it's not, well, for women, that's much more, 70.
It's pretty broad though.
But
violence.
Yeah,
Like, that could be
Yeah.
violence. Murder's the one you sort of,
murder's the one you're looking at.
sounds bad. My hay fever, bro, just for everyone that, I mean, you're either hearing it. I don't know if does it sound like my nose is as blocked as a nose could be? Or do I sound relatively normal?
It sounds blocked.
Because I'm trying to speak without it being blocked,
It sounds blocked.
but it is chockers.
No, it sounds blocked.
But what's interesting, and I don't know this about hay fever, right? There's nothing in there. It's just like something's just like a door's just been shut, is what it feels like.
There's nothing in there.
Like when you got to blow your nose with hay fever, it's not like heaps of shit comes out. Sometimes it's just like, it's just blocked.
Is there pollen in this room?
No, but there's pollen in the air in general, spring, right? So the second when I wake up in the morning, I'm good. And then the second I stand up, it starts. It's weird. I go to take a piss and then it just starts.
For how long does it last?
As in like a day or just in general? How long will I be dealing with this shit?
Yeah.
Some days are worse than others. And then usually it won't last the entirety of spring. It starts a bit before spring and then it will go through to like late spring. But sometimes you just realize one day like, oh, it's gone.
So it'll last till when?
You just, mate, if I knew when it fucking finished, I'd be like marking it on a calendar.
This is interesting. So it says here, when you have hay fever, your immune system identifies a harmless airborne substance as harmful. So your immune system then produces antibodies to the harmless substance. And the next time you come in contact with the substance, they signal your immune system to release chemicals such as histamine into your bloodstream, which causes a reaction that leads to signs and symptoms of hay fever. So basically your body's like, oh, this thing's going to kill me. I better do something about it. But it's actually not.
Could you take an antihistamine?
That's exactly what I have every
I
single
believe
day.
that's what
Okay.
they make.
Had you ever heard of antihistamines before?
Yeah, I had.
Okay, right.
I had.
I was like...
But I didn't know they were used to fight hay fever.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly what I have. I have one of them every morning.
And it does nothing.
No, it does. But it's like the vaccine, right? Where it's not going to... It just dulls the intensity of it.
Do you often wake up just like so blocked up and like eyes puffy and stuff? with hay fever?
Yeah. So
I
that's
get
also the
that
problem as well. Is you wake
Yeah.
up, your mouth's fucking dry because you've been breathing through your mouth all night because your nose is blocked. But like antihistamines minimize the symptoms, like your nose is runny, your eyes get itchy as fuck. Like on a bad day, itchy eyes, like it's ridiculous. But it's interesting to hear that, Dave, because obviously I knew it was autoimmune. I'm also a psoriasis sufferer, autoimmune. I had asthma as a young child, autoimmune. They're all sort of linked.
How many people get hay fever?
Heaps. Heaps of people get hay fever.
Yeah, I'm asking. I want to know how many people get it.
As a percentage of like the population. I certainly don't know that, Dave. That's one for you again. his fucking little fingers are working hard today. I think Thursdays are where his fingers get the biggest workout because we don't know what the fuck we're talking
Lucky it's
about.
not too early in the morning. I wouldn't be switched on.
No.
It says hay fever can affect up to 1 in 5 people at some point in their life.
That's not as many as I thought, but that's still a
That's more than I thought. That's up to 20%.
That's true.
In the UK, it says 1 in 4 people.
And they're weaker over there, so that's why. My immune system is
They're
just
more translucent.
my immune system just seems to be like on edge. That's all it is. It's like, oh, what's that? Not taking any risks.
It's
But
like-
in so doing, you're fucking with me. So
It's paranoid.
it's paranoid.
You
I-
are paranoid.
I have a paranoid immune system. I'm not paranoid. My immune system is paranoid.
Yes, which is you.
Now, firstly, before we get on to what we were, some more shit from Dior, which I've appreciated today on a day where, you know, you and I just sometimes you got too many things on your fucking proverbial Kmart plate to, you know, plan for the show that you've decided to do extra a week, so we forget to come in with shit. But we appreciate your stories, Dave. Nilso the Novocastrian, host of What's New in the Castle podcast fame and soon to be, what was the name of the podcast you were going to do then, Dave?
Bored to death.
Bored to death. He pointed out today that on the Today Show, and we're trying to find the fucking footage, but PVL did a cross with the Today Show, I guess talking about the grand final in Brisbane, and pride of place on the desk was the Hello Sport baggy green. If that is true and that Nilso wasn't lying to us, just good to know, even though we haven't spoken to PVL for a while, the place we hold in his heart.
Well, look, we haven't, communication's not where it was.
Well, it's been a busy year for Pete,
Because
and we
it's-
just went, let's take a backward
It's
step.
been a busy year for all of us, Tom.
Yep.
It's been a busy year for all of us.
Might even been more busy for us than Pete,
Definitely.
with the greatest respect to him.
Respect to Pete. Respect to Pete. But it probably has been busier for us.
How many shows he producing?
Exactly. His workload's not ours, and that's fine.
Yeah,
but
how many fucking t-shirts he's... Oh, yeah, we'll talk about t-shirts
it
in a
buoys
second.
me to know, Tom, it buoys me to know that we're top of mind for Pete.
Yeah. Yeah.
He gets into the office, he's about to do an interview, and he's like, where's my baggy green?
Yeah, let's just...
Where's the baggy green?
Imagine if he was wearing it. Fuck, I would have melted. But just the fact that the baggy green sits on the desk, pride of place, as a subtle nod. I'm just trying to think about, when maybe, I'm thinking wartime here, Eddie. Like when, partners were sending off their partners to war. Do you know when you're going to see them again? Here's a photo of me. Keep it close.
Yes.
So, this like a little thing.
Keep it in your rucksack.
Rucksack. Just keep it with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wear this necklace with a photo of me in it.
Yes.
Whatever it is.
And it's a love heart.
And it's us in a love heart. Pete, doesn't know when we're going to catch up again necessarily, but he, here's this thing from us to you, Pete. Just hold it close, and whenever you fucking,
Hold it near.
whenever
Hold
you're
it
lonely
dear.
or stressed or whatever, just take a little look at it, grab it, kiss it, smell it, and know that like we're always with you.
Hold it. Hug it.
We're always with you.
We're always with you, Pete. You're always going to be a member of the 11. But it's just nice to know that we still mean the world to him.
Yes. And he us. Now, if Nilso was lying to us and that, the baggy green wasn't on the desk, then now I start asking why not?
Well, I don't think Nilso would lie to us.
Neither do I, but I mean, if he was lying, why isn't the baggy green on the desk?
Well, I think it was. That's my point.
You're prepared to just go blindly into just believing Nilso, which I think is probably the smart decision here.
Well, but you're answering the question for me. If Pete doesn't have the baggy green on the table, what's more likely? Pete's got it on the table or he doesn't?
Okay, I'm hearing you now. Yeah.
It's unlikely that it's not on the table.
Yeah.
And it's been backed up that it was on the table by one Daniel Nielsen. So, using the powers of deduction,
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with the fact it was on the table.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, if someone can find us that footage, that'd be greatly appreciated. Do they, Dave or Maddie, put the full episode of the Today Show, which if you were to, do they put that online somewhere, like on their website?
Yeah,
It'll be on 9 now.
I
yeah.
follow that up with, if you are the type of person who can't watch the Today Show in the morning and goes back and watches the whole thing online, then you are the biggest dribbler on earth.
How many people watch the Today Show after the Today Show?
Like after it finishes, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like catch up. Oh, fuck. I want to go catch
I missed
up.
the Today Show this morning. Like,
I wanna
you have
go-
got to be a fucking...
I want to go see their live weather crosses to, like, you know, some guy who's doing a stand-up paddleboard school in the entrance.
But if it is online, that does indicate that people do watch it back.
Or is it just more like a box tick where it's like, fuck it, let's just put it online so we don't have to...
Or is it more people like us who know someone on the show want to go back and...
see PVL and see us and potentially...
Who knows? I think it's probably online. And if it is, we'll be able to find it.
Yep.
If Nelson was telling the truth, which I think he was.
Now, Dave, back to you and your list of interesting fucking stories that we could draw upon to spark some rigorous conversation.
Yeah, so this is one you've sent through. Comes to us by Earthly Mission. And it says, scientists resurrecting extinct frog could be the first step to Jurassic Park coming true.
Right. So how did they resurrect? Because I didn't read it. I
Yeah.
just thought this will blow my mind. Or at least it's either a wool pull of a headline. Like, how do you resurrect an extinct frog?
Yeah, well, it's not as exciting as the headline may seem. So it says,
Where's the way?
a frog species gone extinct since 1983 has been brought back to life. Scientists at University of New South Wales, shout out, have been working on an extinct Australian frog species, the Gastric brooding frog. And basically what they've done is they've had tissue from a frozen egg from the 70s, and they implanted it successfully in an egg from a closely related frog species. So none of the embryos actually survived beyond a few days, but genetic tests confirmed that the cells do contain the genetic material from the extinct frog, and a brief existence was there, so they got excited by that.
But it's not with us anymore.
No,
So it's
basically-
gone.
Yeah, it's gone. But they have
So
the
they
technology.
are bringing it back from the fucking dead.
So they resurrected it for like a fleeting moment.
but not even, because it was still an embryo.
And it was never born. It never
Yeah.
grew. So, and now is it done? Is it they don't have the cells from the tissue anymore?
No, I assume they have more to keep doing it. I don't think this was just like a one shot, let's hope we get it, and then we got no more frozen tissue. I think this is a step towards, like, they've cracked, actually getting the genetic material in someone else's egg, and now they just need to, like, work on taking it to, like, completion of whatever pregnancy is.
It's still not going to be it's still going to be crossed with another animal though, right? With another species. So it's never going to be...
Well, I think from what it sounds like they've done is they've basically made the egg just a carrier, and all the genetic material that goes into the embryo has come from that one frog.
Right.
But how are they going to inseminate it?
I don't know, little droppers and syringes.
But with whose jizz we using?
No, but they use the frozen tissue from the extinct frog and get, like, the DNA and stuff from there. So
Right, but
I was looking up, like, Dolly the sheep as well, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to
And-
Dolly.
yeah.
May she rest in peace.
So Dolly was born. Dolly was also cloned, but Dolly had a natural birth. They just put the genetic material in a live sheep. But this is
Okay.
like one of the first times they've done it all in a lab, I think, for an extinct animal.
And then you said that this, I'm a little disappointed by that story, even though I guess it's cutting edge science. You thought that had some implications for our dear friend of the show, the official thylacine of the podcast, the Tasmanian Tiger.
Yeah, so it says in this article even, we're increasingly confident that the hurdles ahead are technological and not biological. And the professor told The Guardian that they've also already begun work on cloning a Tasmanian tiger.
Is the Tasmanian tiger a dingo with stripes?
Essentially, yeah.
That's what it
It's
feels like,
No,
right?
it's...
We
wait,
paint a dingo.
it might be... Is a dingo a marsupial?
Dingo's a dog, baby. Dingo ate a marsupial, bruh. They don't have pouches. Dingo is a dog.
But it's not exactly a dog.
Well, I'm pretty sure it is.
Do dingoes have pouches?
No, they don't have fucking pouches.
I'm still looking that up. All right. Basically, Tasmanian tigers did have pouches. Tasmanian tigers were marsupials.
Wow. So Tasmanian tigers, marsupials.
What about dingoes?
Dingoes are dogs, you fucking idiots.
No, I don't think dingoes had pouches. But they're not dogs.
No, it's
like
not. It's not a
dogs.
So
thing.
hang on,
I'm telling you, they don't.
So hang on,
They don't,
what is a
you're right.
Tasmanian tiger the descendant of? What's it closely related to?
Well, it's closely related to other marsupials.
Kangaroos.
Yeah, I'm trying to find
How
this photo.
big are they? Because that's interesting as well. Like, are they big motherfuckers, the Tassie?
Big were
Well,
they?
check the video I sent because it gives you a
Well,
pretty
I don't
good
know,
thing.
Eddie. A lot of grainy footage out there.
There is grainy
Tasmania
footage.
is a densely populated.
It is.
Like
There is
dense
grainy
bushland.
footage. There is grainy footage. I'll give you that. Feels like a real loss.
It does, but I mean, imagine the ones that we've lost that probably just didn't have the coverage. You know, Tassie Tiger was just the one that they had footage of.
Yeah, but a marsupial dog that lived on an island off the coast of Australia is pretty cool.
It's very cool. But imagine if the Tasmanian devil died. It'd be the same sort of thing, probably.
But it's still with us.
No, I know. What I'm saying is there's probably things.
And the
that
devil's not as cool as the tiger. We all know that.
we do know that. What did you just send us?
Yeah, I
there,
just
Dave?
sent a photo with some like specs about the Tasmanian Tiger. It's terrible quality photo, and I couldn't find a better one. But you can see there, you can see the pouch,
full-blown pouches
and you
out
can
the
see the way it
arse.
kind of stands up and looks like a kangaroo.
That's a horrible photo. I can't even read the writing.
Yeah,
Dave.
me neither. I saw a good quality photo like this last night, but I
Can
can't
you not
find it again.
Google the dimensions of an average Tassie tiger?
Yeah, I can do that.
Dude, that footage is pretty sick.
Yeah.
Oh, did he send footage? Oh, wow. Dude, that's gnarly. They look like a fucking hyena almost.
Yeah, and the way they open their mouth, like they can open their mouth almost 180 degrees. It says here, Tasmanian tigers were 100 to 130 centimeters long, including like a 50 centimeter tail, and they weighed from 15 to 30 kilograms.
So not huge.
Yeah, like a big dog, I'd say.
What
Decent
size?
sized dog.
30 kilos is pretty heavy, bro.
Is that what Tonka weighs?
No,
Nah,
talk
he's
about more
50.
than that. Yeah, but I'm saying that's what I mean. But it's not huge. I mean, like you're thinking about it, it's not a huge fucking. But it's crazy. They're marsupials. That's what I find fucking. And it is a shame looking at that thing that we fucking. So did they just kill them? Like were they aggressive? Could they be domesticated? What's the?
I don't think they could be domesticated. They were basically hunted to extinction, and the last one, like died of being left out in the cold, which is fucking devastating.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Get your shit together.
Dude, that
Conservation back in the day was mediocre.
best. Dude, best. That thing being left out in the cold. Okay, while we're on fucking conservation and things going extinct, can you tell me where we're at with like gorillas and white rhinos and shit? Aren't there like 2 of these fucking rhinos left? There's like one where like the
Well,
white rhino, there's like 2 left, and we're
No,
like,
it's
we're
like the
fucked.
southern white rhino or the northern white rhino.
Well, that's, I mean, forgive me for not picking the fucking geography, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying all rhinos.
It's like the it's the subspecies that are becoming extinct, I believe, with the rhino.
right, but a subspecies is a species, right? Or you're not as fucking concerned.
So there's the northern white rhinoceros, which is a species. A subspecies, and it says since March 2018 there are only 2 known rhinos of that subspecies left.
That's pretty fucking scat.
What about the southern white rhino? Where's it at? Because I would imagine the white rhino,
Coveted by poachers.
well, a species.
No, southern white rhinos are doing better. They're near threatened, but it says the population is increasing.
Good, love that. All right, what about the mountain gorilla?
Like silverback or mountain gorilla?
Well, silverback is just the dominant gorilla within a group of gorillas. So you just give me gorillas, like the mountain gorilla. What's the
Well, the
place?
mountain gorilla is a subspecies of gorilla, I believe.
Yes, and they were the ones that I think were under attack or under threat.
Well, their habitat is.
The habitat, which in so doing,
It says there's around 880 mountain gorillas left in the wild.
Where are they from? Uganda or something?
Borneo.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Uganda and Kenya and around there.
Killing it today.
Borneo. I'm going
ignoring
Borneo. I
You
don't.
just said Uganda.
He was just agreeing with
right.
you.
Okay. I thought he was reading.
No.
Mountain gorillas, Congo, Rwanda, Uganda.
Congo.
Democratic Republic
Yes.
of Congo.
If you ever
Look at
see a
this guy.
country that has the name
You know,
Democratic Republic,
King of the
it's good.
Dribblers has fucking like gone to Rwanda or Uganda or something and climbed up to see them.
Really?
Yeah, up through the mountains.
I would love to do that.
He was like, it was the most crazy fucking experience of my
Yeah,
life.
yeah. I've been obsessed with fucking like monkeys and gorillas. That was like, kids grow up like, oh, my favorite animal's a fucking penguin or a dolphin or some shit. Mine was fucking monkeys, gorillas.
You're still obsessed with them.
Obsessed, dude. When I was in Bali, first time I'd ever sort of held one, and it just jumped on my shoulder. It was like one that was a fucking pet, which was scat. But the guy was walking around, this monkey was dressed up, and I was like, holy shit, there's a monkey. And he jumped on my shoulder. So I literally almost started crying. Steph was like, dude, are you crying? I'm like, almost, to be honest with you, almost now. This fucking monkey in pajamas sitting on my shoulder.
Do you know about Coco the gorilla?
Oh, yeah, with Robin Williams, dude. You want to fucking cry.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
You've seen that, right? That's where, like, the gorilla's like, it's like, it was, what, like, it basically was like non-verbal, obviously, but like understood.
Yeah, it
could speak, communicate through like fucking signs and shit.
Yeah,
and, like
sign
hand
language.
signs, and then through like on a screen. And this video of it and him and Robin Williams, or her and Robin Williams, like, I assume it identified as a female. They got very fucking, like, they had this great connection, and they were really friendly, and like they're laughing and playing, and the video's fucked. I wish we had, well, Maddie got the Chromecast, so we can watch shit like this soon, but it's actually like moving seeing fucking the connection they had. And that's why I'm a gorilla fan. I'm a fan of the gorilla. If you, and like, I mean, going to see them in the wild would be fucking...
Wouldn't that be fucking crazy?
Mental.
Love
Mental.
that. Very jealous.
Anyway.
Weird stories with Dior.
Weird stories, weird podcast. But I think we'll fucking draw the curtain there on whatever the fuck this week it's been.
Did you want to mention the shirts?
Yes. So the Bounce Out Trackie, the, what are they called? The Hello Sport Bloke Collab shirts. Last day of sale tomorrow. What did I say?
The Beer Soon shirts.
Yeah, right. Sorry. Again, Thursday. Forgive me. Beer Soon shirts. Last day is tomorrow, Friday, the whatever of September.
Yep.
Thank you to everyone who's got one so far. But if you do want to get one, bloke.shop is where you go, and it'll be the last opportunity you'll have to get them. So please do that. We're also doing the live stream tomorrow night on the Hello Sport YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed, and we will be there to watch Manly dominate.
Dominate we will.
Kempy will be joining us as well from the Love Sack, and D or Dave will be getting pelted with rotten fruit. But
Have you decided what I'm going to have to sit on yet?
Maybe
The floor.
the top of the ladder.
That's actually
That's
funny.
not bad, is it?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That'd be tough though if he fell.
I wouldn't mind that though. I'd like being
he might
taller
get
than
excited.
everyone.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's not necessarily OH&S safe, but anyway.
We'll think about it.
We'll think about it. Until then,
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Fuck, I should have said that. Matt just goes, "Oh, Storm fans are used to being on top of the ladder."
That's actually very fun.
Could you two just not talk anymore?